Are you managing a team of outbound callers using the Zoho CRM to help you manage and organize your data? If so, you definitely need to be taking advantage of the PhoneBurner Power Dialer. Maybe you already are, but the PhoneBurner Power Dialer allows you and your organization to power through your calls at a rate of up to 60 to 80 dials an hour. Once you install the extension, your organization will be able to select records and initiate a PhoneBurner power dialing session, and the setup is extremely minimal. By default, we're going to just capture all of the custom field information from Zoho, and we're going to populate it in the custom field section in PhoneBurner. But some of you may not want all of that information coming over here, and I've recorded some other trainings talking about this, how you can rename these fields on the PhoneBurner side and make sure that they still communicate with the appropriate field on the Zoho side. We've also talked about how you can add exclusions. So when you're in your PhoneBurner account, if you click on your initials in the upper right-hand corner and go down to integrations, you can go to the Zoho integration section. And this is where you can manage the custom field mappings and exclusions. So here I am on the exclusions page. You can see these are all of the fields that no matter what, I don't want PhoneBurner taking from Zoho or putting back into Zoho. I just want them excluded from any integration between Zoho and PhoneBurner. And then if I go to the custom field mapping overrides, here I can create mappings of fields between Zoho and PhoneBurner. So if I want to change the name of the field on the PhoneBurner side, what my team sees when they're making calls using PhoneBurner versus what PhoneBurner needs in order to communicate any changes back to Zoho, I can create mappings. Once I create a mapping between a field on the PhoneBurner side and the field on the Zoho side, now I can rename that any way I want. Any changes I make on the PhoneBurner side will update that field on the Zoho side, and the next time I start a dial session, the information from Zoho will go into the appropriate field on the PhoneBurner side. So as you can see, you can manage those fields. You can manage how those two systems communicate with each other. But when you're part of a team, now we've got to think about, okay, how do we manage custom fields and exclusions and mappings and all of this stuff when it comes to an organization? Because every team is different. By default, when you first create that link between PhoneBurner and Zoho, if you're the admin, we're going to make sure that any mappings and exclusions that you create, they're propagated down to your team. So everybody's going to use the same mappings and exclusions across the entire organization. And we do that to try to keep things simple. So you're not having to go in and create mappings and exclusions for everybody on your team, because you might have 100 people on your team, and that's not going to be easy to manage, right? You're not going to want to go in and do that for everyone. And so there's really nothing that you need to do other than, as an admin, you should be the first person to do a dial session with a sample contact that has all of the contact custom fields, or whether you're calling leads or any other custom module, doesn't really matter. You want to do a call to a sample contact that has all of the fields that that has data in all of the fields that you care about. In fact, you should probably just have something in every field just to make sure that you get everything over here to PhoneBurner so you can create all of your mappings and exclusions. Again, go back to the field mapping and exclusion videos for details on the best way to handle that. But what I want to talk to you about here is when you're part of a team, when you're the admin of a team, you want to do this first. One, you should be testing everything to make sure that you're happy with it, but you want to do it first because what's going to happen is you're going to create these mappings as an admin, and we're going to propagate that out to your team. But what if you have a team member that needs to manage their own field mappings and exclusions? Maybe you've got some people on your team that do things a little bit differently, and so they need to see different information in the dial session window versus the majority of the team. Not a problem. We have a solution for that. You'll need to work with our support team. We'll need to know the exact users that need that. But if you do that, if you need that, we can do it. And how is this gonna work? So let's go to the team tab. So let's say, for example, oh, and I need to end this dial session. Let's get out of this session. Let's refresh here or go to the My Team section. Let's go in as Johnny Zoho Manager, right? So let's say Johnny needs to be able to manage his own field mappings and exclusions. You need to reach out to the PhoneBurner team and let us know exactly which user needs to manage their own mappings and exclusions. And when you do that, that individual user will see the option to create mappings and exclusions. They'll see this screen the same way you see it because they get to manage it the way they want to manage it. However, if they're not managing this themselves, and the way you should see it by default is like this. Let's refresh. And so by default, again, everybody's going to follow the same mappings and exclusions that you have. You may run into some situations where they end up with some additional custom fields that you're not seeing in your admin account, because if you don't add them all as exclusions at the admin level, there may be some creep down into the sub accounts, but we just need to work through cleaning that up, getting those exclusions added at the admin level. Again, make sure you watch the video on how to add exclusions in the admin account to help keep things clean. Our support team can help you as well. But again, this is what it should look like by default for all of your team members. But if you need them to be able to manage the mappings themselves, just let us know and we'll be able to help you switch this so that when they log in, they see the option to create their field mappings and exclusions on their own. So anyway, that's just one more way that we on the PhoneBurner side are trying to help you, give you the flexibility to manage the PhoneBurner Power Dialer the way you need it for your organization. We understand that most people are not going to want to give each user the option to manage their own field mappings and exclusions. So we give you an option to allow them to do that. But by default, we're going to keep that locked down to where everybody's using the same field mappings and exclusion that you have set up on your account. So anyway, I hope this helps you and your organization get more done in less time using the power of PhoneBurner. Thanks again and happy dialing.